Have you ever wanted to play a kids game with deep lore, tragedy, hopelessness, sickness, and even death, all while saving the world as a bobblehead dog? Well, look no further, as I introduce to you the Dog Island, also known as I'm gonna butcher this, so here's Google.
一つの花の物語
That's basically what I said. And that translates to The Dog Island, the story of the one flower, as it's known in the Japanese version. A 2008 adventure video game for the Wii and the PlayStation 2. Now you may be wondering, Ghost, why are you making a video about a game that is 15 years... Oh my gosh, 2008 was 15 years ago. Alright, let's ignore our own fleeting mortality for a second and talk about this. This game is an absolute masterpiece, and no one ever talks about it. So I'm making it my duty to take you all on a journey. A journey to the Dog Island. Roll intro. After you boot up the game for the first time, you're greeted with this beautiful melody of an opening song. I get so teary-eyed listening to this song. It's so cute and pure, and it adds such charm to the game. It features some dogs from the game. Yes, they're all in this adorable, cute bobblehead style, just walking around being dogs. After the opening sequence, you choose the dog that you're gonna play as. There's 48 different dogs you can choose. Yes, they really put in the work for this game, and we're not even talking about the story yet, so get ready. It gets pretty crazy. The game opens on this town. It's hardly ever mentioned, but this town is called Puroro Town. I think that's how it's pronounced. We start off with your dog waking up and doing some big puppy stretches. Look at those puppy stretches. Then you meet your mom and your dog sibling. And yes, they look exactly like you, but with accessories on, but we're not talking about that. So, you go to this thing called the Star Festival, which is an important detail to remember, so just keep that in mind. Your sibling passes out during the festival from being too excited. Oh my gosh! Dude, I've played this game so many times, and this scene still gets me. It's getting me right now, right in the feels. It's just so sad. After the dog doctor gives the old, I have to be frank with you, we learn that our sibling has a deadly sickness that's been getting worse, and we also learn that your dog father went to search for a cure and hasn't been seen since. Yes, this is a kid's game, and rated E. It gets much worse than this. Let's continue. It's revealed that there's another doctor. Get it? Like, doctor, like dog. There may be another doctor that can help, and he lives on the Dog Island, which is one dangerous sail across the sea away. This heartbreaking scene occurs. Are you absolutely sure about going to the Dog Island? You know, heading to the Dog Island isn't just gonna be a walk in the park. Are you willing to risk your life to get there? So you're serious. Alrighty then. Well, if you want, I can give you a ride. We leave tomorrow when the tide turns. Your brave ass puppy is willing to risk it all for their sibling. Tell me, what other kids game does this? When's the last time Peppa Pig World Adventures on the Switch made a plot line where she has to save her sick brother? There is no other game like this game. As I told you last night, I'm very worried about you going there all alone. But you've made your decision, and I won't argue with you about this anymore. I wish you didn't have to go through all this trouble for me. And just like that, we're sailing off to Dog Island. dog philosopher Donatello's predictions are all but confirmed when we hit rough seas. Captain Kibble. Okay, his name's El Dorado, but what a missed opportunity not to name him Captain Kibble. Come on, guys. He tells us that the seas are too rough and that we'll have to turn back. So like any normal game for young children, your dog jumps into the raging sea, literally ensuring your permanent puppy death. God, I love this game. You're alive! Come on, guys. Did you really think that a dog would die in the Dog Island? Welcome to Pupsville, the shining jewel of the Dog Island. This little village, I would risk it all to live here. So you find Dr. Potan and he agrees to help your sibling, but he needs a few days to I don't know, sniff his ass or something. So you meet with the town mayor to find a place to stay. Okay, I just looked it up and I guess he's called their leader, which seems a little cultish to me, but whatever, I guess. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of lore in this game, and this is where it starts to get a little weird. Noble, the leader, I guess, tells you that you can stay in his vacant house for free. What a coincidence. But in exchange, you have to suck his dick. I'm just kidding. He obviously makes you find a ghost instead. So yeah, this is Petasi, and he's called an Anc. He serves as like a Navi of this game, helping you manage your inventory and explaining story bits as well. Okay, if I'm being completely honest, I replayed this game so many times, and I'm still not fully sure of the lore surrounding the Ancs. It's pretty complicated for some reason. More on that later. And honestly, this little guy's the best. I love Petasi. Throughout the whole game, he has so many little sassy comments, and he's just such a little mischief maker. I mean, look at this guy. How could you not like him? Alright, so then you plant an Anc tree in the middle of town with Petasi, and this tree only grows whenever you do enough tasks for the other dogs, so it grows by appreciation. Is everybody still following? Okay, good. Moving on. This next part is the part of the game when all the game mechanics are finally introduced, now that we're like an hour into the game. I'll talk more about the gameplay in a bit, but after you do a few sniffing tasks for this bug-eyed looking dog, and cut this log in half, you unlock a new part of the map and we get this scene. Is that you? Please, could you give me a second? What are you doing here? Oh, I get it. Someone sent you to find me, am I right? I wouldn't be surprised because I sneak out quite often. Are you wondering what this is? Okay, maybe it's time I tell someone about this. This is my best friend's grave. She died on this very day. A long time ago, of course. Back when I was young. My best friend was sick with a disease that couldn't be cured. I tried everything I could, but she never got better. Instead, she got worse every day. One day, Obaba came by and told me that my treatment would never cure her and only make her worse. I was too young and foolish, so I didn't listen to Obaba. Eventually, I lost my best friend. I'm a fool for letting my stupid pride get in the way. The most important thing is not how you treat, and not who treats whom. The most important thing is to save patients any way you can, but it's too late for what I lost. Nothing will change. Nothing. I still dream about her sometimes. She stares at me sadly. I always thought she was blaming me for not curing her and what I did, but recently I started to think maybe she looks sad because, instead of looking forward, I keep living in the past and I live in sadness every day. Maybe she feels pity for me. I really feel that way. Especially when I see a young man like you risking your life to save your family. I should probably move on with my life. Could you give me a moment to be alone? That was my audition to play Dr. Potan in the animated series, so Netflix, if you're listening, I'll be waiting for your call. So, where are we at? Deathly ill sibling, missing dad, the Anc plotline, and now we add feeling remorseful for the death of a loved one that you could have prevented. Did you get all that, 6-year-olds that this game is targeted towards? I just spit all over my mic. And after all of that, Potan finally has found a new way to cure your sibling. So it's back to sailing on the ship where we literally tried to unalive ourselves. And when we arrive, it turns out that Dr. Potan is a big fat liar because he actually can't cure your sibling right now. Well, that would have been nice to know before we came all the way here, Potan. This is what happens when your doctor is a dog. Anyways, so here's when we learn about the legendary flower, a flower that's said to cure all types of diseases, and it supposedly exists somewhere on Dog Island. But it's a legend, so nobody knows. And we're back to sailing, baby. Out of my way. I got a legendary flower to find. That's the only hope to cure my diseased sibling. Otherwise, they will die a slow and painful death, and it's all on me. Oh hey, our Anc tree grew. The Anc tree grows by appreciation. Remember, we helped those dogs, right? And there you have it. The Anc tree's growing taller. My queen forced me to stay in this world till the Anc tree grows big. But it looks like we're doing just fine. And before we know it, I'll be back in the Anc world. Okay then. Let's rest up at home. And yes, he said that his queen forced him to stay here. Petasi decides to trauma dump on us and tell us the reason why he was kicked out of the Anc world is because he was playing too many pranks. He's just a little prankster. Petasi gets way too real and says, "Everyone hates me and calls me a prankster. If I stop, everyone would just ignore me like I never existed and they'd forget I existed at all. I can't stop doing what I do because if I did, no one would notice me." Damn, Petasi. That hits deep. But the queen doesn't care. She decides that the best way for him to learn was to go to the dog's world to learn how to be good, and then he can come back. So, you keeping up with this? You staying with me? Listen, guys, this is a 10-hour video game. I'm trying my best to summarize it here. It'll make sense later. Kind of. So, you meet with this witch doctor dog, who yes, was a part of Potan's traumatic death story, if you remember that. And she tells you that in order to find the legendary flower, you need to learn how to become a Sniff master. And she warns us that nobody has ever survived such training to become a Sniff master. So, you know, the odds aren't great. But to first start training, you'll need to meet Road. Oh, this guy is cool as hell. Road is called a master of sniffing. I don't know how that's different from a sniff master, but whatever. He's the first master out of 2 that you'll have to train under in order to learn the ways of sniffing. This kid's game is really a lot. This is where the Dog Island grind begins. In your quest to learn the art of sniffing, you also start helping dogs with side quests. The side quests often involve learning new smells, howling at enemies to knock them out, digging up items, helping or feeding wild animals in order to get to certain places, fishing for specific fish, and other similar activities. In our quest to locate the legendary flower, we traverse the entirety of the Dog Island map, exploring everywhere, from hot sandy dunes and freezing snowstorms, dark caves, and even barren canyons, all while helping all kinds of dogs along the way. In doing so, you expand your scent list and grow the Anc tree. There's also mini-games, but we don't like to talk about those. You help doggy friendships and romances, retrieve lost items, navigate puzzles, earn woofs, and become the head of a gang. Literally. While training under our second Master Tao, we learn of something called the Sniff Master Medal. It resides in the Kunka ruins. You also have to get 2 Sniff Master books before this, but I'm summarizing here. It's not important. Let's move on. Once he gives us the key to the ruins, you have to complete this puzzle. It involves you smelling out the switches to open the doors. And also you have to find 2 dog statues for some reason. Honestly, guys, this part is such a grind for real. But as soon as you pulled out all of your hair and finally just decide to look up a walkthrough, you realize that there's a secret room through the vines. Then you're golden. like the dog statue. So you take the medal to Tao, and... finally, after 9 hours of playing, you are a Sniff Master. But wait, it doesn't end here. You still have a 6th sibling to save because this game is nothing if not a sensational story about puppy family love. The legendary flower is said to grow in the ancient grove past the ruined caverns, so we travel far and wide. We get to the ruined caverns, placing the medal inside of the statue. I remember the feeling of finally arriving in the ancient grove. It's always such a surreal experience. It's so beautiful with all the flowers and clouds. Did we really just find the cure for our sibling? Is this it? The end of the game? When finally... yes, we finally found it! That's the legendary flower. It's wilted. Of course, our last hope and our only solace in all of Dog Island is wilted. Did you really think that that would be the end of the game? Of course not. Cause this game is anything but simple. Petasi suggests that his queen may be able to help us, so we take the wilted flower and head to the Anc World. Okay, so before we talk about the Anc World, I have to talk about the elephant in the room. Or should I say, the whale in the room. There are sky whales in this game. Yeah, apparently this is a normal thing in the Anc World, and now they're just coming into the dog world, so... if you didn't think this game could get any weirder, think again. We arrive on Anc Road, and by navigating our way through traps and puzzles, we are able to open the gate into the Anc World. So yes, this is the Anc Queen, and she explains that because the dogs haven't been holding the Star Festival properly, the festival from the beginning of the game, like 9 hours ago, that festival, which is a festival that shows their appreciation for Mother Nature and strengthens the Earth crust, the crust is weakening, and that's why the bits of the Anc World, like the sky whales, remember those? That's why they're coming into the dog world. You staying with me? So the dogs in Pupsville need to hold a Star Festival, but we can't hold the Star Festival without the stone, called the Stone of Heavens, which is hidden all the way back in Konkua Ruins. And if the festival is done properly, the legendary flower will resume its power, as well as the rest of the Earth and its crust. So, no more sky whales. Girl, no. I am what most people would call an adult, and if I had to reread lines and lines of dialogue to understand all of that, now imagine if I'm 6. Alright, I guess it's back to Kunka Ruins. My sibling is probably dead by now. Yes, Dog Island has a boss fight, and it's low-key pretty easy, but still, as a kid, this stuff scared me, okay? I had to give the controller to my sister to beat it for me. I don't do well under pressure. And he has a really mean face bubble. You have to smell out the right button sequence to press, and if you do it right 4 times, and then smell out a hidden button in the middle, then this happens. You take the Guardian Stone, and they pull an Indiana Jones. The whole place starts coming apart. So now you have to minecart minigame your ass out of there. When you get back to Pupsville, you immediately host a Star Festival because, you know, it is the end of the world, and this is a dog's adventure game for children. Goodbye, Sky Whale. I hardly knew ye. The flower is revived! We f***ing did it! Oh my god. And after becoming a Sniff Master, exploring all of Dog Island, and saving the world, you say your goodbyes and head back home. We'd better get going before the tide changes. I know it's always hard to say farewell. Okay, well, take care, okay? We'll be friends forever, won't we? Oh my god, it's so sad. I don't want to see this. So, the credits roll. You see your mom and Dr. Potan. You give the flower to your sibling and... they're all better! Oh, this game, man. And then you get this post-credit scene. Your dad is fucking alive! He didn't just go get the milk, he's back. He explains that while he was looking for the cure, he got lost in the Anc World. He says, right when I thought I wasn't going to make it, somebody helped me. It's Petasi! Oh my gosh, I love it so much, dude, oh my gosh. And then the game ends with a wave and a wink from Petasi. And that, my friends, is the story of the Dog Island. I genuinely don't know why nobody knows about this game. It has a pretty good cult following online, but I can't say I've met anyone else in real life that knows about Dog Island and how good it is. This is my favorite game. I think I'm able to say with 100% certainty that I am Dog Island's biggest fan. And to prove it, I'll show you. This is my painting of Pupsville. I did this years ago and it's in my hallway to this day. And I also literally have a tattoo on my arm of Petasi, so if this isn't stand behavior, I don't know what is. Okay, so in the back of my mind, I think I made this video to hope that I can get the word out there for a sequel. I know it's been 15 years, but please, Ukes and Ubisoft, I am begging you for a sequel. Pets Dogs 2 doesn't count. Pets Dogs 2 wishes they could even be a pixel of what Dog Island is. Or even just a Switch version for a re-release of the original with better graphics. We would eat that up, please. Okay, if you've never played Dog Island, go play it. It is genuinely an amazing game, made with so much thought and heart, and more people need to know about this. Also, a huge thank you to the Long Play Archive for letting me use their gameplay footage. I don't know what I would have done without you, buddy. Thank you so much. And another huge thank you to you guys for the support on my first video. I couldn't have asked for more. I was not expecting more than 100 people to see it, and I was only hoping for that much. So you guys have absolutely exceeded my expectations. Thank you so much for all the support and all the comments and thumbs up and everything. Thank you so much. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe! Please think about the sequel, Ubisoft.